Good morning, coffee lovers. My name is Russell Volts from Lake City Coffee. Today, I have a special, very awesome, incredible opportunity to help educate you and help you to enjoy the coffee that I absolutely am nuts about. We're going to do a review on the Hacienda La Manita estate coffee beans. Now, of course, this is from the Tarrazu region. Every single year, Alicia and I bring in about 24 beans from all across the Tarrazu region of Costa Rica. Why Tarrazu? Why Costa Rica? Because we believe that is the smoothest, least bitter coffee on the planet that also has strong flavor notes. Tastes strongly like coffee, it's notorious for chocolatey flavors, as well as cherry, sometimes red berries, sometimes dark berries as well. Now keep in mind, if you're not overly in tune to your taste buds, to you it tastes like coffee. But most of our customer base, they're kind of coffee nerds, so they really kind of like to hone in on these specific subtle notes that this year is absolutely crazy. So out of the 24 that we line up here, every single year, we pick one bean. The very best bean that typifies what we particularly like. Like I said, non-bitter, smooth as can be, chocolate notes. Doesn't have that, we're not interested. In years past, we've picked companies like San Rafael or La Pastora. There's a bunch of different, very, very high-end coffee plantations that we choose from, and this year it was Hacienda La Manita. So what I'm going to do, last year's coffee right here, I just happen to have it in a mason jar, was San Rafael. And this year, of course, we've picked, as I told you, the Hacienda La Manita. They're estate beans. Okay, we'll get a little bit more into that in a minute. Hacienda La Manita is and has been for a very long time a family-run business. It was family-owned. They eventually sold out to a large corporation, Japanese corporation, but that Japanese corporation said, "You guys are doing such a great job. Keep it up. We'll leave you alone. You know, you're part of our..." The Japanese company was really into tea, wanted to break into the coffee business. Hacienda La Manita was basically the place to go. So they did, and they've left them alone. So I get the great opportunity to talk to family members and people that are within the Hacienda La Manita organization and talk to them directly. So we've developed a relationship over the last 6 months as we've been taste testing their beans. Now, we didn't taste just their estate beans. They had half a dozen other Costa Rican, Tarrazu region, and some outside of the Tarrazu region. I was willing to experiment, and we went through all those, and we settled on their estate beans. Estate beans simply means they have their headquarters, their home, and all the coffee plants that surround them, that's on their property, that's called estate. So same thing in the wine industry in growing grapes. When you buy a bottle of wine and it says estate on it, that just means you can see the grape fields from your house. So same kind of thing here, but we're talking about coffee beans. So let's talk on how we're going to compare these. This is going to be a quick taste test. First of all, the beans came in bags just like this. This is our normal everyday coffee bag. As you can see, it says dark roast on top, and on the front it has roast date, and the date it was actually roasted on. Good luck finding anybody else that does that. So now this is a dark bag. These beans here that you're looking at are both medium roast. And the reason I picked the medium roast, one, I like it better, two, than the dark roast. Although 3/4 of what we sell is the dark roast. It's what Americans expect. That's what they like. Great. But you can actually taste the subtle flavors both in the dark and in the medium. But in the medium, it's more prominent. So they're easier to pick out. We use French presses because I think a French press actually makes some of the best coffee out there. Granted, there's 50 different ways from Sunday of making coffee, but when it comes down to finding out what's truly in there, see, every coffee brewing method uses or extracts only certain compounds and molecules, and there's over 1,000 different molecules inside coffee beans. Now, each brewing technique focuses on or draws out just certain individual flavors based on its brewing method. I think the French press is the best way to go. Now, I'll use an AeroPress from time to time, and I've used a lot of different kinds. In fact, I have probably, I don't know, a dozen different ways of making coffee, but this is my go-to. So that's what we have here. This is last year's San Rafael, which was a phenomenal coffee. This year's Hacienda La Manita, which I think is even better. But nonetheless, let's compare the two. We did grind them, okay? Well, first of all, we weighed. I used a regular scale. We went 25 grams for 16 ounces of water. 25 grams, 16 ounces of water, a medium grind. Now, I like this grinder because made in the USA by Red Rooster Trading Company out of Missouri. We have our coffee in the burnout mugs, and the reason we pick out burnout is because made in the USA, only vacuum insulated coffee mugs made in the USA. So I'm thrilled about that, and let's get to it. Let's see what we taste. Okay, this is the old. This is the San Rafael. Very smooth, very smooth. Strong coffee notes, of course, and as well as more of a milk chocolate. So there's a milk chocolate, but it's subtle. So in other words, you got to be paying attention. Very smooth. Coffee, just like wine, has texture as well. And the texture on this is thin. Now, it doesn't mean the taste is thin. It just means the texture is thin, which a lot of people really like. Okay, let's go on over to this year's Hacienda La Manita. We like this so much, we bought a couple of tons of it just to get us through the rest of this year and probably the first half of next year, in which case we'll be making another selection. And believe me, we're going to start with the Hacienda La Manita estate beans, simply because we like it so much. Still smooth as day and it's long, but this flavor is stronger. So it's stronger than this, has more chocolatey notes. So if you're really into chocolate, man, this is the way to go. I think you could taste the chocolate notes on this without paying attention. And you might sit back and go, wow, that's the most interesting coffee I've ever tasted. If you're not paying attention, right? If you're paying attention, you're used to running into different notes. The thing that makes this unique first of all, one of the things that make it unique is the smell. So on the nose, right off the bat, you're smelling cherry. Okay, you're smelling cherry right in the beginning. You could probably pick up a little bit of the chocolatey notes, as Alicia does. Me, not so much. So I can tell they're there, but they're not prominent. Alicia thinks they're prominent. But when you taste it, you're getting slight chocolate on the front end of the taste. In the middle of the taste, it's a stronger chocolate, and on the back end, it's cherry. And here's the weird thing, okay? Usually the back end notes, those finishing notes, if you will, only linger for a second or two. This goes on and on and on. If you kept that coffee in your mouth, around your tongue for 2 minutes, you're going to be tasting chocolate, of course, and cherry. And the cherry just keeps going and going and going, which really makes it super enjoyable. Again, flavors are more prominent, stronger than last year, definitely just as smooth. This is probably, in my opinion, the finest coffee I've ever drank. I think this is even better than Kona coffee. Now, Kona coffee, I got to admit, now we had to go through 24 to 30 different coffees to be able to pick one out this good out of Costa Rica. I've never had a bad cup of Kona coffee. Never. So even their bad Kona coffee is pretty darn good. So when this can compare to Kona coffee, which costs literally 10 times the cost of this, okay, real 100% Kona coffee, trust me, the Kona coffee that you're getting at Costco, that is not Kona coffee. A Kona coffee bean walked through the plant once upon a time, but what you're buying at that price cannot be Kona coffee. So nonetheless, now that's my ding against, all the other industrial coffee companies that are trying to sell coffee and not giving you the real thing. This is 100% Hacienda La Manita estate beans. You're going to love it. If you have any questions, get a hold of Alicia or I. We'd be more than happy to help you. Have a great day.